Well, this is awkward. Yeah, I don't know how to really start this video. So, you probably know by now, and well, you probably also guessed by the title of this video, that Rec Room is shutting down on June 1st. And that is, well, that is quite a big-ish hit for me, as well as for my friends, especially for one certain friend, Magalore, because he has been part of this whole shebang a lot more and for a lot longer than me and, let's say, Josh and Octo. By the way, if you don't know these people, they're my best friends, essentially. And also Quickant, yeah, and Checkin, yeah, yes. Alright, so Rec Room is shutting down, and I guess I finally have a reason to make a video for this channel. Yeah, it is quite difficult to even comprehend, I would say, because, well, I have spent quite a bit of time in this game, and this is the one and only place where I've met my real friends throughout the years, so that also plays into this whole thing. As you can see here behind me, we have a board of my friends. In fact, let me actually show you. There's Meg, there's Josh, Kitty Nerd, haven't seen her in a while, Octo, the guy who taught me music, look at this guy, and Chicken. I guess I also need a picture of Quicken for good measure, but I mean, like at the time of recording this video, it's just like two months left until the game's shut down, so... Well, actually, yeah, I should, like, make a memory, I guess, or something like this. Anyway, I'll figure something out. So, I could sit here for a very long time and just blabber on about, like, my entire experience with Rec Room and, like, the different shenanigans and events I've been to and other things that have happened throughout the years, but I don't think I'm gonna do that because I'll just bore you to death. In fact, I had a plan In fact, I had a plan like this at some point, in the past, but I decided against it because, well, again, it would just be too long and too boring. Also, I guess I'm never going to get to touch this again, ever, even though, like, my entire life, in Rec Room, obviously, I've been trying to get some resemblance of a trophy, and for the first time ever, when I got, like, a trophy, and such a unique one at that, suddenly, boom, no more. You can't have that anymore. So as I said, I've met a lot of friends here, all of which are my best friends in this funny little game that began with, like, activities, some sports-like events and other games, as well as quests, you know, which are basically theater, like, or theatrical plays and everything, with props and all that fun stuff, which slowly turned into a more, well, expressive sort of side that is taking place in, like, a college campus sort of place. I don't know how to explain it properly, but yeah, that was Rec Room, and that's what it should have stayed for a while. As of, like, 2020 to 2021-ish, me and Josh were discussing a lot about Rec Room and how much it has changed, and how it has changed for, well, the worst. 2018 was like the peak of Rec Room, I would say, because a lot of good official games came out, and a lot of good, like, events took place. Official ones, obviously, like the contests became a thing, like both video and building contests, I believe. I don't know, video contests were 2019 or something? I don't remember anyway. And yeah, and we were discussing how this game was basically expanding a lot more around that time, and when it actually, like, had soul and some sort of a direction, like a very clear direction it was going into. But since then, a lot of things changed, like, you know, Rec Room firing half their staff because lack of funds, obviously leading to now the game being shut down due to lack of funds. And I think most of it is due to poor decisions on the CEO's side of things. Well, I guess Gribbly is now a CCO of Rec Room, because I remember, like, he stepped down from a CEO to some other role, but I don't know really exactly what the role is. But anyway, he's, like, still the face of Rec Room. Anyway, as I said, bad decisions led Rec Room into the state it is in now, which is shutting down. There's a lot of these decisions. I could go on forever just listing them down, but I guess a couple of those would be starting a bunch of events, like lore events that led nowhere, which were like fun at first, but then they kind of escalated down pretty quickly, or down spiraled, I guess. And then there was introduction to like UGC stuff, which completely and utterly destroyed the whole identity of Rec Room, I would say, both in Rec Room Plus side of things and, well, the things that you see on stores that like cost up just ridiculous amounts of tokens. Not that, you know, official Rec Room items are any better, but you get what you get my point. And yeah, just a bunch more like very bad decisions, such as like, I don't know, introducing Rumi, like this funny AI guy flying around. He introduced nothing of benefit to this game, among other, I guess, controversies and etc. Between the staff and other like officials, or like some community faces, etc. But yeah, in the end, Rec Room was something special to both me and all my friends, especially Mag, because again, after all, that is the place where we all met each other and where we keep sometimes seeing each other, sometimes outside the Rec Room like in other games, sometimes just chilling out in Discord, doing whatever. And so yeah, ultimately, if not for Rec Room, a lot of things in my life wouldn't have happened. Well, again, such as meeting new friends and just getting like a new experience sort of thing, like a valuable experience. Like I, for example, learned the value of friendship, you know? And that's, I mean, I guess that's the primary thing that I've learned for the past couple of years, but I mean, it is very important. And then, if you remember, I was trying very much to create this cool movie about the Forbidden One, because, well, if anything, the Forbidden One, although just an accident, it is a very fitting accident at the time, where, you know, Rec Room could introduce some sort of lore stuff, right? And the Forbidden One was such a good example of that, you know, them completely missing the whole point of the Forbidden One and like his character and everything and what the community has created him into, them just completely like shrugging that off and making whatever the heck they turned him into in that like Heroes event back in the day. Yeah, that was just horrible. That like nobody liked that, let's be honest. So speaking of the Forbidden One, I was actually aiming to make a movie about the Forbidden One inside of Rec Room, and I wanted to, like, I was so passionate about it, right, that while writing the script, I was also trying to figure out like the circuits and the different sceneries we would have to create in order for this movie alone, which would be like an hour plus something long, to be like put into like the whole history of Rec Room. In fact, it would be history made inside of Rec Room, right? But I guess that will never see the light of day. Not only because of the lack of people who want to participate in the project, but also due to the fact, well, obviously Rec Room is now shutting it down, etc., etc. Maybe if I'll have some like time in the future, like free time, I mean, and if I become suddenly like super cool and good at animating and like modeling and stuff like that inside of, I don't know, Blender, let's say, then sure, I guess I can make the movie just as an hour-long animation, or like, you know, as a hobby sort of project. But otherwise, inside of Rec Room, no. Yeah, I guess I'll also show you around my dorm, because I have like turned this dorm inside out a lot. This is the dorm that I've kind of stuck with for a very long time, and I remember deleting this one when it was, you know, finished, to create some dorm skins, you know, to get money and stuff. In the end, I decided to, well, give up on the whole dorm thing and selling things, because, well, at that time Rec Room was very boring. And so yeah, I just placed all the general stuff back in their places, and yeah, the rest, like the details, like the lighting, lighting, yeah, isn't there. The campfire is in here, in the inside of the chimney. There's supposed to be a big like whiteboard over here with markers and stuff. There would be like a bunch of pedestals that I made during one of the classes that I took, one of the few classes that I took. Some paintings from other classes as well. And then upstairs, I don't think there was much anyway. Yeah, there's just this stuff. This flag, by the way, I remember making it around the time when I was friends with BD Swagmuffin. Now his name's just Swagamuffin or whatever. And yes, I was friends with one of those cool creative guys way before he joined the Rec Room team, which, I mean, sounds kind of weird that I am that guy. But now I guess it doesn't matter anymore, does it? And yeah, also this guy is completely broken. You can see his hands over here, while actually his body is down here for whatever reason. He's supposed to be like a bartender and stuff. Here was going to be a shelf full of my trophies, but yet, you know, it's over there. And a nice little chilling area for me and my friends, I guess, which never was used properly. So that sucks. And yeah, of course, the weekly rotation stand with nothing on. Also, funny story about this guy. So I'm glad you don't need to know that story. You know what? Since like this is not going to happen ever, I was working on a small project, like a side project or how is it called? Basically, in my spare time, when I would feel like playing Rec Room, and when I wanted to build something, I was creating this like hub area for my studio, the Bear Studio. Yeah. And there's a whole like cool setup that I created for it, like the values of the company or of the studio. The building itself would be like very like nice and modern, and it would be just like a hub for me and my friends to go to talk about like different movie projects maybe, or just overall like a hub where we could keep all of our scenes, you know, like room scenes for video projects and etc. So yeah, let's just go there right now. Welcome. Yeah, also this day 7 sign, this is supposed to be like, you know, I was actually recording all this stuff as I was building it, and I wanted to make like a time-lapse of me building it, and then I wanted to like invite all my friends over and show them like the grand opening of this place, which would like look all like big and pretty and stuff, but obviously that will never happen. And as you can see, I've spent roughly 7 days on this project, and yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. Anyway, let's go inside. Anyway, and here's the grand reveal of the new and improved Bear Studio logo. I think it looks cool. By the way, for reference, that flag you saw in my dorm, that one, it's not really the Bear Studio logo. I will actually show you how it looked like before, back when it was like a demo version of the logo. Here's the logo. Kinda ugly, isn't it? But I tried to keep it like very close to that flag logo thing, symbol, bear paw that you saw before. But yeah, then I kind of figured that it looks god-awful. So that's why I turned this into this logo, which looks a lot more bear paw-ish. And these are the streaming cameras, obviously. Now let's take a look around this whole building. As you can see, we have like a open sort of, how are they called? Verandas? I don't know. Basically, these open spaces with beautiful windows where I could, you know, put some beanbags, maybe some coffee tables or whatever, where people can hang out. Maybe put some rugs around, you know, just to lead to these 2 walkways here. The reception desk, etc. Big pillars and the unfinished roof up here, which would have been finished if, you know, big aquarium-looking thing with these glass panels that have these funny clamps on them. I don't know why they look like this, but anyway. This would be the hall where I would keep all the doors to different scenes and rooms, etc. So yeah, and here on the 2nd floor we would like have more tables with chairs, or maybe just some sofas scattered around, and everything with a nice view over to the entrance area. This is me experimenting with the potential, like a chandelier looking thing, modern chandelier. And then this one, I think this is like the highlight of this entire place. This is the main meeting room. Look at that. Very modern, very bright, very beautiful. Yeah. Look at them lights. Even got the sharing screen set up with speakers and everything. This room will never see the light of day again. kind of feel sad about that, especially this logo and, you know, this cool wall pattern that I came up with. But yeah, this is basically how the room looks like currently, and will never be updated again. Yeah. Day 7, everybody. Day 7. So anyway, now that Rec Room is shutting down, does that mean that I will, you know, not post on this channel anymore? Well, obviously no, that doesn't mean anything like that. Although Rec Room was a big part of this channel for a very long time. If you go way back into like my very old videos, and back in like my origin story, yeah, you will see a lot of Rec Room gameplay in there, and just me hanging out with my friends and having fun, essentially. Well, most of the time. But now that Rec Room's shutting down, I guess I'll just keep my normal profile picture like I, well, intended to. And like, I'm yet to change the banner as well, but I'll just keep it a pirate map. And yeah, otherwise, I don't know, I guess I'll just focus on some games that I like. Yeah, I have a lot of things. I have actually a lot of very exciting projects in the future, some of which are actually happening around the time Rec Room is shutting down. So around June-ish, I will get to like reveal the big thing that that I've been working on for a very long time. Honestly, I'm very excited to show you, and yeah, I guess we'll see where the channel will go from there, because, well, anything could happen. Now that Rec Room is shutting down, and since tutorials on Rec Room are kinda useless now, I think, you know, I'll put them back online. You know, I've made them unlisted just for the sake of, you know, not having new comments every time, asking the same things over and over again, you know, every time I open YouTube. So, you know, I decided at one point to make them unlisted, so, you know, they're still available through playlists and such, but you can no longer, like, search for these specific tutorials on YouTube. But anyway, now that Rec Room is shutting down, I guess there's no point in searching for new tutorials, so if you want to watch any of my previous tutorials or anything like that, then you can. I will make them public as I have published this video. So yeah, that's a deal. And I guess if you want even more nostalgia about Rec Room, then you can go ahead and check out this video right here, which is a cover of mine on OOBE, which is Out of Body Experience, by the way, which I learned not so long ago what that actually meant. But yeah, this cover is something that I spent a lot of time on, and plus even Octopus, which, well, Octopus on Fire, that is. Octo, he helped me work on this funny track. He like aided me, guided me through like what I should and shouldn't do, you know, stuff like that. What I should enhance, what I should like leave as is, what should I change. And he even gave me a bass, like a how's it called again? Anyway, he gave me like basically a bass pattern to go along with the song, which is nice. So, you know, that's why the song is kind of like made by me and him at the same time, which, I mean, it's pretty cool. But anyway, as I said, if you want some like extra nostalgia fest, then go ahead and watch that video. It's pretty cool. Me and Octo worked on it for a very long time, so it'd be very much appreciated if it got a little bit more love. But otherwise, I am going to finally finish editing one more Rec Room video about the Rec Center, like the old Rec Center coming back and stuff. I'm going to finally edit it, publish it, and then after that, right before Rec Room shuts down, I will release a video as a small farewell, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. But until then, enjoy the moment while it lasts. Play your favorite quests, visit your favorite rooms, both that you, well, might have found, okay, like accidentally while searching for something interesting, or the rooms that you've made yourself. Just, you know, meet some old friends that you really wanted to talk to. I think that's the most important one. And yeah, enjoy these last couple of months. What else can I say? And also, thank you to those 3,000 subscribers, of which like 0.05% are going to watch this video. I guess just thank you for joining for a video and staying for the ride, or something along those cringy lines. I guess I forgot to say this. So yeah, this Jumbotron. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, this Jumbotron credit, it is something that I made after participating in a laser tag league, in a minor laser tag league. I didn't get to participate in the major one because, well, I'm not cool enough. But yeah, I've made this as a small, like, souvenir gift sort of thing to everybody involved at the time. But ironically, nobody cared. But, you know, I tried really hard recreating this thing, and I think I did a pretty good job. So, yeah, now it's just gonna stay here forever and rot alongside this room and my character and all the things that I've acquired throughout the years. Yep. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for playing Rec Room. Thank you for everything, like all the experiences and stuff. And I guess I'll see you later. Later, as in, well, the last Rec Room. Well, the last 2 Rec Room videos, and that's it. So yeah, thank you and have a good day.